If you like this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. For just $1 a month, your name can appear at the beginning of this and many other upcoming videos.
Now we both have plenty of room, and you didn't even have to give anything away.
Au contraire, I did give something away. I gave away my wagon and my best friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were better friends with that beat-up old wagon than you are with me.
Wow. What a bitch. Well, it looks like Trixie finally has an episode this season, as she teams up with Starlight on the road to friendship. I know I've been harsh on Season 8 lately, but I'd like to think that the second half of the season might be onto something, because for the most part, this episode was pretty fun, and it adds some pretty good context to the friendship between them. A traveler from Saddle Arabia asks Trixie to perform in his hometown. She accepts the offer, but isn't quite used to traveling so far. Starlight decides to go with her to keep her company as the two set off on the road trip of their lives. At first, the two are getting along and are even having a fun time. But after a while, the two start to get into each other's nerves, and as it heats up, it seems to put a strong strain on their friendship. I think the first thing I really want to talk about is the musical number, and it's a really good one. I never really noticed it before, but the voice actors for these two have really good singing voices. They synchronize with each other very well, and the lyrics seem to have a really nice melody to them. But I think what I like best about the song is the orchestra. It has this colorful upbeat tone to it that really keeps you hooked. It's like the opening theme for Super Mario Odyssey, it's just so addicting and catchy. The episode also has a pretty nice story. It really feels like you're on a road trip with these characters, as all of the ups and downs of a vacation feel present. There's the stress of finding a place to stay, getting along with the travel group, and having to adjust to a new atmosphere. But there's also the excitement of traveling, seeing new places, meeting new people, and trying out new activities. As someone who was just on vacation, I can actually relate to a number of experiences the two went through in the episode. I also like the way the episode expands the show's world by introducing a new location. It may not be much, but we do get to see a bit of culture mixed in the episode. Little details like showing Starlight eating a falafel and showing how Saddle Arabia is different from Somnambula is a really nice way to expand on something that was mentioned in Season 3. Another thing I noticed about the episode is its cuteness factor. It tries out a lot of tricks to make Starlight and Trixie just look so silly and adorable, which might seem gimmicky at first but never feels distracting or out of place. It does make sense to be expressive with these two since they are good friends and even share an interesting dynamic. With all the traveling she does, Trixie is kind of a country pony while Starlight is more of a city pony due to her upbringing. She had a more-off family and mostly kept to herself, so she doesn't really know much about the outside world, as where Trixie would have a lot more knowledge due to her traveling, which already sets an interesting dynamic. Then you have Trixie, who's not very good at magic despite being a show pony. She seems to take cues from Starlight in order to learn how to improve her skills, so in hindsight, the two are actually kind of learning from each other. Trixie is teaching Starlight to explore the land, while Starlight is teaching Trixie to explore her potential, and I really like how Trixie's character is handled. For the first time in the series, she's managing her ego and trying to keep it under control. She shows humility and doesn't let her pride get the best of her. She's doing it to stay on Starlight's level so the two can relate to each other and have a good time. And it helps make the time they spend with each other feel more adequate. And it helps that the episode does a good job showing how neither of them are perfect and they both have their flaws. They both annoy each other and get on each other's nerves. But they also make each other happy, living with each other's troubles and working through a situation together. This is what makes their friendship so enjoyable, and I'm happy that they were willing to make an episode for that. And they never resort to any of the obvious lines like "we're not friends anymore" or something similar. They just have some heated arguments and the episode treats them as such. There's even some nice moments of visual comedy. The way Starlight and Trixie back away from the shake while giving those confused looks like they have no idea what's going on is absolutely pure gold. The shake is a nice callback, as it's nice to see how Twilight and Cadance are still bonding. Flurry Heart gets a nice cameo and even has her own funny reaction to the shake. There's even some nice self-aware awkwardness from Starlight, and it's not exactly fourth wall breaking, so it stays subtle while being humorous. And I also happen to like this one-shot Hufar character. He has this sense of patience and politeness that makes his company really welcome, and he has some nice interactions with the two girls. He's able to perfectly see through their poor improvising and has a rather funny way of pointing it out. Granted, the episode never gives us a reason as to why he wants Trixie's caravan, but his character is still okay and he doesn't do anything annoying. But with that said, the episode does have some problems. For starters, the setup to the conflict feels way too obvious. I know it's the point of the story they were going for, but it's not subtle enough. The first half of the episode is about how they're such perfect friends, so the rest of the episode is obviously gonna be about them fighting. Maybe if the pacing was a little slower, they could have worked themselves into the second half better. And the scene where they can't get any sleep feels really forced. There's a whole bunch of ways that they could solve the problem so they don't have to hear each other. Like, you know, earplugs? And even when Trixie was waiting for something in line, couldn't Starlight have taken the time to look for a hotel room to reserve? There's no real reason that she needs to be in line with Trixie, so she could have just looked for a room. But the worst thing about the episode by far is when Starlight deliberately gives away Trixie's caravan without asking her. And not only that, she shows no compassion for Trixie's feelings about it. This is a huge problem with the story since it's supposed to be a scene that shows a gray area of conflict between the two. But Starlight is so obviously in the wrong. She gave away something that wasn't hers to someone that she didn't even know. She never took the time to talk to Trixie about it and wasn't even thinking about her when she made the decision. She didn't even care that Trixie was crying. It makes Starlight out to be extremely impulsive and selfish. Trixie took the time to explain how much the caravan means to her, and she had it for a very long time. So it's not hard to believe that she started thinking of it as her home. It means so much to her that she was willing to lie in the desert for a whole day without food or water. Okay, Starlight didn't know how much the caravan meant to her, but it's still a horrible thing to do, especially to someone she's supposed to be really close friends with. You don't sell something that isn't yours. It's stupid, thoughtless, and careless. It badly characterizes Starlight while completely overdoing her flaws in taking action too quickly. It just felt really out of place and uncomfortable to watch. But despite that, I will admit that this is one of the more interesting episodes of the season. It does have some problems, especially that huge one that I just went over, but it still has several good qualities that give it a lot of rewatch value. The song is a lot of fun, the world building is very appreciated, and it adds some nice insight on the friendship between Starlight and Trixie. It may not be one of the best of the season, but it's certainly a good one. It's one that I look forward to seeing again sometime soon. So until next time, take care of yourselves and stay awesome. This is Map signing out.